Are you gonna keep the stream online so that these people, I guess, in the public chat that can't come can see it later?
I don't know yet. I was thinking of just like leaving it up for like a day, and then public people can rewatch it and then take it down. And then maybe I'll put it back up with a different link for us, possibly. It depends if it's a good one. I think it's gonna be a good one, but then again, that was before I decided to invite the public. I'm probably not gonna want to dive into shit to the same level with public, so I thought it was gonna be like a really good one just because I was up and energetic, and now I'm super tired again. So we'll see how it goes. If it ends up being just a decent one, I probably leave it up for like a day and then not bother putting it back up. It's a really good one, and we get into a bunch of really good shit. Then I'll probably put it up for us, for the group.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yep. Why does it say 5 people watching now? What the hell? It said 11 a minute ago. Eight people. Okay. I don't know. It took a minute to start up for some people or something. 9 people. All right. I'm going to put the AC on because it's hot in my office. Yeah, I don't have windows in there. I don't even think I have the window open, so. Do it later with just the windows open, but for now I need the AC because the office gets too hot. Now I got a predicament. Do I drink another Monster so I can get in the zone and really have a ton of energy? Or will that just keep me up for like the next 6 days straight? Because I drink big-ass white Monsters are my favorite. And there's like 17 heart attacks worth of caffeine in each one, so... Come on, test the top of the cloud. It's dipping down a little bit. We could correct back to the EMAs, but they've turned bullish, and they're not going back unless the price action gets below them. So those are going to stay in the bullish crossover on ELF. So those look really good. Just to cycle through all of my open plays. I know you guys are in some plays I'm not, which is fine. We can look at those charts too, but Quantum is doing the same thing, moving up. 1, 2, 3, 5. That's correcting too. It's not that much further down to where the EMAs will end up being. It's only a couple percent. My stop loss is still down here. I'm not going to really bother moving it up yet, though. I mean, I could move it up to like up here, so below that 382 retracement, but that would lock in. If it'll lock in, yeah, I'll move it up just because 2.7% is a pretty decent amount. Because by the time it gets down there, or actually no, it would only be up here. Because I'd want to stay below both EMAs just in case. It would only add like another little under 2% profit locked in. But this was like 2 nights ago or something that I drew this bull flag. Like we were halfway through this move. Or no, it was down here. So that was 2 days and 12 hours ago. It was right after we bounced off the bottom of it. And I was like, look at this bull flag. And then it just kind of went perfect. So this will be a good stream to go over that and other stuff. Like just a little bit of everything. I wanted to do educational stuff. I'm going to go over when I avoid plays. Some of you guys already know that. Public certainly doesn't. Newer members don't. So I'll go over that. And then, quick review of flags and stuff. Pretty much go through all the charts that have been going so well for the last week and why and what I did with them and everything. Corrected a little earlier than I thought on ICX. I thought we would actually run up to that 786 extension, but looks like we stopped right at the 618, so we'll come down to... Oh, this is a subwave anyway. 2, 3. We should bounce off of the 55 EMA. If it gets down any further, it might have already finished. But if it gets down a little further, the 55 EMA is going to be the support for that. All right, we got 12 of our members, so I'll wow, how perfect was that? So earlier today when I looked at this, we were just moving up, and I was thinking at some point, because I drew this last night, how it was actually kind of like a bear flag. And I thought, if you guys remember, I said we're probably going to bounce up and like hit the top of this and then come back down. It's exactly what happened. Timed the correction perfectly. And then at that point, then it'll depend if we break through the EMAs, in which case I might not be so bullish about this play anymore, but I've been so positive on it for like a couple days now. I think we'll get the support from the EMAs. Icon we already looked at. EOS is correcting exactly where I said it would last night. Where I place my stop loss up here, I can move it up a little more and lock in more profit, but because the whole thing was I was willing to get stopped out and then enter back in when it finished correcting, so I'll probably do that. All right, let me post this link and invite everybody else, and then we'll dive into everything. And then for if anybody wants to type messages, I'm not really going to pay much attention to the YouTube chat. I never do.
Hey Jesse, for the EOS for wave 4, should it also be 5 subwaves, or did you mean to draw ABC?
Though the correction is an ABC. That's the correction. The five waves is for impulse waves. Hold that question, because ask it again when we start the stream, because that's a good question to have for when I invite public people in, which I'm doing right now, so stand by. But ask that question again when I get up that chart, and we'll go through it. Did that work right? Let's see. Yeah, that worked. We could use Vader University class discussion channel for if anybody wants to type text. I need a third display. That's what I gotta do. Well, 28 people now. We only got like 15 people from the group, and now a bunch of people from the public group, which is good. That's what I wanted. I wanted those guys to get a taste of what we're doing, so I can coerce them into giving me their money, and I can scam them with my scam group. Mwahahahaha. Oh no, they can hear me. Now they're gonna know. It's all an act. Whole honesty nonsense. Never trust a Jew. Didn't you guys learn anything? We got the horns and everything. Although my Jew horns are pretty stylish as fuck, not gonna lie. A few more minutes, we'll let a few more people join. It's kind of funny that BBC, with, being the prevert I am, immediately I would think Big Black Hawk. But I didn't catch it. I was curious for a second. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Maybe like the news organization in England? All right, where are we at now? 35 people. Sweet. 36. 37. All right, we'll start in a minute. Couple minute intro I'll do for all those people who haven't been here before, and then go through the group real quick, and then we'll go over a couple different things I wanted to talk about, and then we'll look at some charts. The charts will be a good thing to go over, the TA or analysis, concepts I wanted to discuss. All right, I got 40 people. It's like more people than I've ever been in my live stream, so we're starting now. People show up later. Fuck them. Okay. All right, quick intro. People who haven't been here before. My name is Jesse Feinberg. From New York originally, live in Boston now. I'm an IT engineer, got into crypto a year and change ago. Mostly just held coins and made some decent money for a little while. Never really learned how to trade all that well, although I used to day trade a bit in college with microcaps and the stock market, so I had some experience. Then I lost like 50 grand, all the 50 grand I had in the market. Well, I had like 65. Lost almost all my money in January. I was in a group, actually, with some tool who I talk about every once in a while just to make fun of because he's a douche. He's one of those guys that just tells you to hold and accumulate, and then everything crashes. The coins that he's been pushing on you just all completely plummet 70%, and he tells you, it's an alt sale, go out and buy more and accumulate. We're going to moon any day now, and then you get completely wrecked and lose all your money. One of those guys. He inspired me to start my own group, which is why I did, because I lost all my money in his. So for the next month, I took whatever money I had left in the market out. I paper traded and practice traded on... I have a video on paper trading, but I used paper trading on TradingView. And essentially you get like 100 grand of free money, and you can play around with it and kind of practice different strategies and learn how to trade. So I did that. And once I got to the point where I was able to not only make back the money I lost, but twice as much, I started, once I was able to regularly make several percent a day and profit paper trading, I put my own money back into the market. I took on a lot of risky trades. I was trading on margin with leverage a little bit. It was really risky shit because I needed to make money back as fast as possible. I don't do that anymore. My risk profile is dramatically different than it used to be, and I've developed a whole trading strategy and a whole model which works pretty damn amazingly well, as a lot of people in the group will tell you. So yeah, then I started a group because I had a free Telegram. My group I started that the other guy inspired me to start by the douchebaggery that he pulled with his group. I started a completely free group on Telegram, and then everybody in that group was like, "You need to start a paid group because then you could dedicate more time to this. Then you won't." Because I have my own business as an IT engineer and a consultant, so I set my own schedule, but I was really busy and I never really had as much time to trade and do stuff with the group. So everybody wanted me to do this full time and do more educational stuff. So I started the paid group, and it's been going well since. A lot of people keep joining. Not many people leave. When the market was really crappy and I wasn't trading as much, I still had some trades that I was getting into. I don't do signals. I just share all of my personal trades with everybody in the group. If you lose money on a trade, then I lost money on a trade. I don't do signals. I don't just sit in my chair and just tell you to buy at some arbitrary price like these idiots do with bullshit groups and stuff. I tell you what my personal trades are. I do live streams all the time and phone calls all the time. Even if a single member has a question and needs to ask me something they don't understand, they could just DM me and possibly just jump on the phone real quick and we could talk about it. If I have a few minutes of spare time, I do that constantly, all day long. And I love doing it. It's never a bother. Never feel bad bugging. You don't never feel like you're bugging me or annoying me. Just DM me. And you can jump on the phone, talk about, how to fix your strategy or what you're doing wrong or what your best portfolio diversification plan should be. I do that with any premium member who asks. I pretty much dedicate my life to this thing, except for when I'm sleeping or out running errands. I'm here and I'm available and I always answer. So, yeah, that's what we do. Let me show you real quick the group. So public members who don't know how the group's set up and stuff, I'll show you really quick, and then we'll get into the charts. I want to talk about a few cool concepts, so some TA ideas and concepts, some trading strategy stuff, and then we'll look at some actual charts, and these are pretty much the plays that me and the guys in the group have been in. Some of them are in other plays that I'm not, but these are my trades. And I'll share, these charts. I'll show you how I came up with what I came up with, how on point they've been, and how, my strategy works really well. I can give you a lot of great examples on here. So let me do a quick 2-minute rundown of the group just so I can show people who are curious, who are in the public group and don't really know. So once you sign up for the premium group or the basic group even, if you sign up for the base, this is all the public stuff. And then if you sign up for the basic group, there's a few different chats. There's a random chat for, chit chat, member picks where members who are good at TA post, their own picks and stuff and their own plays. They're very active in there. Some of the guys are really good at TA and post really good trades. Crypto chat is where we pretty much are all day posting shit. Then we have random chat where we talk about random shit. I post any sort of like newsletters, stuff like that. And then the ones where you want to have notifications enabled are the ones where only I can post. So Vader's posts, short-term plays, long-term plays. I post every trade I get into pretty much here. This is every day. Just charts and charts and charts. When I get into a trade, I post it here and I share a bunch of info. Some of my trades might only have a basic alley wave count, and then this is the long tool where it shows this is my entry right here. My stop loss is 2.29%, so a very, very low risk trade, which I'll get into. I'll briefly explain my strategy down at 438. And then the rough targets like 535, but I don't have targets that are set that accurately on a lot of these charts because I'm not worried about where it's going to end up. I'm just worried about getting the breakout and then moving my stop loss from here to here. Then I'm 100% risk free. As soon as we get up far enough above my entry price that I'm comfortable doing it, maybe when we cross over a new support, like the bottom of the Ichi Cloud or the EMAs, once we get above those, I'm much more confident, and then I can move my stop loss from down here to my entry price, and then it's a completely risk-free trade. There's no way in fucking hell that I could lose a penny on it. It's an amazing strategy, which I want to briefly explain to you guys as well once we go through this. And then some charts, I have, ridiculous amount of detail. Sometimes I'll do an Elliott wave count with subwaves and subwaves of subwaves and show trend lines and show a falling wedge or a rising wedge. I'll show you on some of the new charts that we've been working on. I do all sorts of stuff, geographic formations. I look for cup and handle, head and shoulders, bull flags like I called here on Quantum. Last night, or yesterday at some point, right when we bounced off the bottom here. No, this was actually a couple days ago. I think I just looked it up. It was 2 days and 4 hours ago or whatever. I drew this formation and said, you see this bull flag? So I was using it as an educational tool. I said, now that we're bouncing off the bottom, very good chance we're going to move up right along this red line. And it wasn't intended to be a trend line, but it actually is. Like, it's actually holding it pretty well. But it's a really good tool when you're trading live and doing these live streams live. I do them pretty much every day, but sometimes I'll take a few days off if I'm on vacation. If I'm really busy, I might take a day off here and there, but I generally do them every day when the market's stable or good. If the market's all down and everything's red, I'll do a few live streams a week where we do educational stuff. But I'm not posting a lot of plays because I don't do signals. I post my trades. Every single trade in here, with the exception of a very select few where I might not have available capital, I'll just post and say, hey guys, I'm not getting into this because I don't have the money right now. But if I did, I would 100% buy right here. So I do that all the time. But generally speaking, every trade in here is a trade that I'm personally in. If members of the group are losing money on that trade, they're not losing much because of my strategy, but we'll talk about that. I'm losing money. If they lose money, I'm losing money, and if they make money, I'm making money. We're in this together. It's a team. I refer to it. Team TFC is the hashtag I always use because we're a team. It's not like I'm just a teacher and they're just my students and they just follow me. We're a team. They help me and I help them. So it's a really great community, and this is where that sort of stuff is, where I post my own trades. Then I have some longer-term trades. Vader's posts might not be trades I'm getting into, but charts that I think are relevant, or maybe with like an update where, I just wanted to let everybody know last night we were live streaming from like 9 to 12 or something. I wanted everybody to know what I had overnight, and these were the trades that I was in last night. I was waiting on an entry for BQX. I was already in ELF, NULS, Quantum, BTS, EOS, ICX, and VET. Those are the charts that are still up on my other screen, which I will show you. I always have like all these tabs open with my current charts, and then I, adjust them as I go through the trade. Then if I get stopped out of the trade, I might just kick out. Oh boy, guys, you seeing this? Discord? Yeah, you guys can hear me? Are we on Discord?
Yeah, I just noticed that.
All right, nice. So just so public people know, right before you guys joined, we were going through an initial chat, just me and the guys, and we were talking about this bear flag. I isolated out yesterday and showed everybody that it was slightly concerning that we were initially forming this. So when I drew this, we were actually just bouncing off the bottom here. And then I said, once we get to the top, it's going to be interesting. Either we're going to drop, and this is a bear flag, and we're going to go down, in which case I'll get stopped out. I will have lost 3.5%. No big deal. I've been saying for 3 days, and the guys right now can back me up for members in the public group who are listening to the live stream. We're on the Discord voice channel. They can say right now, for like 3 days, I've been saying BQX is gonna move. We just don't want to enter yet, but it's gonna move big. As soon as it gets above 7,200, that's when we want to buy. And I said that when I made this long tool the other day, and then it ran up a little bit, and everybody was like, should we get yet? And I'm like, no, it hasn't hit 7,200. It got really close, but that was my threshold for a very specific reason. So I called it around over here where I said, all right, it's time to get in after this dip, but I want to wait until we get to that confirmation. So we've been moving up ever since. Sure enough, we hit the top of that trend and came back down, but then we bounced right off of the EMAs down here, which is what I just said 5 minutes before the public guys joined this group. I told the premium members we were going to bounce off the EMAs there. And now we're shooting right back up. So I want to get above this trend line here. I want to get up to like 7,700, high 76s, and I'll be more confident. But if this can be a really big breakout, it will have been one that I've been calling for 3 days on BQX. So I just spotted that live. So I kind of had to jump in because that was a nice looking candle. And the volume's actually not that high. So the volume's not that high and the candle's making moves like that, that means somebody's getting in big and they're willing to spend the money to get in immediately instead of waiting to stagger their orders a little bit. So the volume's not high. It's not like it's a pump or anything. If the volume was up to 4 times the normal level, then it's like, shit, maybe somebody's doing a pump and dump on it. All right, that kind of sucks. When the volume is stable where it's been, but you're getting that sort of movement, it's a really good sign that it's natural, organic movement. It's not a pump and dump. It's not something that's ruining the TA. It's a really good trade to be in. At this point, is it too late to get in? I mean, you could. At this point, I'm getting close. Once we get above this level, I'm going to move my stop loss up, so I'm going to be risk-free. But I don't know if it's too late to get in. I'll have to look at it more. 1, 2... Looking at an Elliott wave count, it looks like it's just starting wave 5, but that could also just be subwave 5 of a much larger move. So we'll get into that. Just to finish, I want to finish my thought on here. So this is the setup in Discord. And then if you get into the premium group, that's where we have the voice channel down here. We got a bunch of the guys who are listening in on the call who can ask me questions live. We have our own dedicated chat. We have chats if people want to talk about flash trading and scalping, shorting and margin trading. I don't put out trades that are shorts necessarily or leverage trading or anything. I actually advise against it. I also don't do any mining really anymore. I have a little bit, but not really. I have a discussion for it just so the guys can talk about it. Some of the more experienced people in those areas can share trade ideas. I do a lot of scalping and flash trading though. And then the premium group also has access to like my watch list, my favorite all-time plays that are like my main long-term positions, some dedicated trades that I only share with them. I don't share with anybody else, which I think BQX was one of them, and I just shared it with everybody by showing it to you. So, oh well, I guess that's no longer a premium-only trade. That was it, right, guys? BQX was the one that was I only posted it in Dark Side?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess everybody has that trade now. And then Vader University, where we do all of our training stuff. And video links to a lot of those. I don't even want to click on those because then you'll see all the links for them. And then you can steal all my content for free. And I want your money, so you're not getting shit for free. No, I'm just kidding. I do a lot of work with the free group, and I post a ton on Twitter. Anybody who's in here from the public group knows that. I just try to keep a substantial amount of content for the premium guys because we work really closely together. We do a lot of training and we help each other, so they deserve to get some exclusive stuff. That's the whole point, after all. So that's the group. Quick intro for people from public who are curious, how we do what we do, or when I might not post a lot of stuff to the public group. I'm posting like 10, 15, 20 charts sometimes in like a day and a night in our groups, depending on, how well the market's doing, how much time I have that day. Tomorrow, I might take the wife to the beach. Haven't settled on that yet. She's pregnant with twins, for those who don't know. So in another couple months, we're not going to be going to the beach. It's also going to be winter, so we're not doing that anyway, but I kind of wanted to do that. So I might not be as available tomorrow, earlier in the day, but if we don't do that, then I'll probably live stream during the day, which is good because then some of our European and Australian members can join in. I like to do earlier live streams during the day for those guys to be able to get in live. All right, so let me check a couple things here. Good. Nobody said anything in the YouTube chat, which is fine. I actually don't really pay that much attention to it during live streams because I have Discord up with the premium members. So those guys who are unable to talk in the Discord phone call because they're busy, they're working or something and listening in, they might just be able to type in Discord. So I leave that up on my other display. But if anybody who's from public or whatever posts I'll try to check it, every few minutes or something if you have an important question. All right. Does anybody have... Well, nobody in the Discord chat's going to have any questions about the stuff I just went over. And I don't really want to take questions on the group stuff right now. So you can ask me stuff in a DM if you're curious about joining or something. Shoot me a DM and you can ask about any of the stuff we just ran through. Let's get into some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. So I've done some public videos that are on my YouTube channel, which I believe is youtube.com/DarthCrypto. I think it's, /DarthCrypto. That's my YouTube address. So join my, or check it out, and there's I have a bunch of public videos on there that break down like my main strategy. I call it Ichima is my main model that I designed, my personal indicator that I came up with 55 and 99 hour EMAs and Ichimoku Cloud. And the theory behind it is when you cross over and you have the 55 on top of the 99, it's bullish. So right here is when it crossed over. I always caution everybody. I'm not saying like other people with moving average based strategies. When it crosses over bullish, buy it, and when it crosses over the other way, sell it. Could you do that with my strategy? I guess you could. If you did that when this was bullish with the 55 on top, you would have made 9.2%. But what I actually do, I base everything on Ichima, which is Ichimoku and my EMAs. So 2 of my dynamic supports are the 55 and 99 EMA, and then I have 2 more. So I have 4 dynamic supports. That's what I call them. Dynamic because they constantly move around. The 2 EMAs, and then the top and the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud. You'll get, look at all this support, like right here. A ton of support on the 99 EMA until eventually it failed and broke through, but it caught a lot of support there for a while. Bam, support off the 55, support off both EMAs. Get rejected by the 99 up here, the blue one. Got rejected by the 55 down here. So those EMAs almost always give you incredible support, and if they don't, then the backup would be Ichimoku, where you get support down here, get rejected up there, and kind of go back and forth. In this case, it was sort of both. So that's having those 4 dynamic support and resistances are really, really helpful. It's the best model I found. I developed it myself, but there's other people who have similar types of models and strategies that I haven't found to be remotely as profitable. So that's one of the main aspects of my trading strategy, except what I focus on is not, maybe when I get the bullish crossover, that's a sign that it might be a good time to enter. But it's not like I wait until it crosses back over to sell, because look, if you were to do that, you would have made 9%. But if you were to go and maybe sell up here at the double top, you might have spotted, all right, here's a double top right here. We cut rejected and came back down, and then you might move up your stop loss and make 16%. So the other key to my strategy is stop loss and risk management. Every single trade I'm in has a stop loss, without fail. Every single trade has a stop loss. When I use the long tool like this, I'm using my entry is the middle, my stop loss is the bottom. And again, the top isn't necessarily a concrete target. I'll just use it as like a general rough idea. We had a double top over here, so chances are if we do reach up to that point, we're going to get some really heavy resistance right here at this resistance level because we already double maxed over there. We might get up to the second one, which this wicked out a little bit further. So I have like these general rough targets with this. Some trades I do have exact targets, but you'll see on some of these charts I do. But what I'll do is I move up my stop loss incrementally. Like I don't take profit. People say, what's your target? I don't have one because I don't have a target where I'm going to take profit. I'm not going to sell. I don't sell. And very easy example why. Say you were to get up to right here and you're like, all right, this is time. I bought down here and now the price is here. It's going to sell. And then it goes up another 4% and you're like, shit, I wish I didn't sell so early. I wish I, could have made another 4%. Or say, better yet, just to give you a better example. Say you bought, down here and then it gets up to here, retraces, and then this big pump candle. And you're like, shit, I'm up 17.98%. It's time to sell. Well, if you did, you would have missed out on the next 9%, right? So then you'll kick yourself in the ass and say, I wish I didn't sell at 18%. First of all, I don't kick myself in the ass. I never have regrets because I always have a plan and I stick to it. But just to show you an example, instead of selling here when you're up 15%, or sorry, when it comes back down and then bounces up, you're up in this really big green candle. Instead of selling right here, move your stop loss up to like right down here. You want to find a good support, and if you join the group, you'll see I do a lot of detailed work on finding support and resistance. Like right here would be a decent support and resistance, a little bit lower just because you want your stop loss to be a little lower than the support and resistance line, plus the bottom of the Ichi cloud here is a level that's pretty important in this case. So I'd place my stop loss down here. Then if I get stopped out, instead of making 19%, I'm only going to make 15%. So that would suck. I'd miss out on some profit. But if I'm right just one time and it doesn't go down and stop me at 15%, and then it shoots up another 5% or whatever it was, which, what was I just looking at? BQX, right? Because I hit, okay. Hold on. I hit the up thing and it moved it up. So, yeah, if you were to do that, if you're right just one time instead of making 17%, now you're up at 28%. And you can move your stop loss up to up here, and now you're locking in 20.68% or 21.13%. So all it takes is one time. If you use that strategy and you move up your stop loss and it comes back down and stops you, yes, you did lose a little bit of the profit. Then you would have done better if you just took profit. But more often than not, that doesn't happen. More often than not, what happens is it'll keep going up. And instead of selling early and kicking yourself in the ass for missing that extra profit, if you're right just one time, you can move your stop loss up another level. And as soon as you move your stop loss up to this level right here, that's where we were going to sell to begin with, right? We were talking about selling at this exact level. As soon as that level becomes your stop loss, you've now guaranteed, by being right one time on that, guaranteed that no matter what, you're going to get the exact same profit as you would have if you did sell. Except now, you have all this extra potential where it can go up a ton more and you can move your stop loss up again and again. That's why I never sell. I incrementally move up my stop losses. I have a whole strategy and a model of how I do that. I work on that with the premium group all the time, as the guys can attest if you ask them in the chat. So if you're interested in the group, that's one of the important strategies that I employ that I would love to teach you guys. I mean, I've taught you guys a lot about this stuff just in the public group and on Twitter anyway, but we can spend a lot more time together and do one-on-one calls, whatever you need if you're in the premium group. So that's another example of my strategy. So we move up stop losses, and then I have Ichima, which is Ichimoku and the EMAs combined to give us 4 dynamic supports, and that makes up one of my primary strategies as well. Put all that together, we have a very, very good, successful trading strategy. And if you look at the EMAs, like I can show off and just say name a chart. In reality, you can do this yourself. Set up a 55 and 99 EMA, not the MA. It has to be EMA because EMAs are exponential moving average, which means that the more recent price action is weighted. So when you're moving across like this, then you get a really strong move up that they immediately turn. If these were regular moving averages, they would keep going like this sideways and take a long time to turn up. But since they're exponential moving averages, as soon as you get these big runs, they almost immediately start turning up. So it's a lot more helpful for this sort of model. But if you were to set it up with 55 and 99 EMA, and it works on the hourly chart. There's some other time frames where it kind of works, but I designed this based on the hourly chart to find high potential plays. If you do this and go back and look, this huge bear trend, the whole time my EMAs were telling me that this is going down. They never crossed back over. Sometimes they will for a second and then go back, but for the most part, they stayed in this bearish formation with the 55 on the bottom and the 99 on the top. This entire drop down, all the way. Look at this. I'm going back. BQX has been going down since the 5th of July, when we got the crossover right here on the 7th of July. But it's been going down ever since this max here. So if you did exit this trade right there, do you even see how much money you would have saved? Even if, again, I don't suggest that you just buy and sell based on my EMA model, because a lot of the time you miss out on huge profits because it might go way above, and then by the time it does cross over, it's a little bit later and you've missed some profit. But just from here where if you were holding BQX, where it did cross over bearish, if you did sell, you would have saved almost 80% on that position. Instead of getting wrecked on a good coin that just got completely destroyed in the bear market, you would have saved 80%. Fuck. Do you even realize how insane that is? Just from something as simple as having a basic strategy like that and using my model, you could have potentially saved 80% if you were holding BQX, which is Ethos, which I actually like as a long-term play. 80% fucking percent. That's nuts. And then the same thing when it breaks out and it's on like a super strong run. Sometimes this is like a short run. There was the bullish crossover there, crossed over here. You could have made 34%. Some of them are a lot shorter, but on these big extended runs, if you were to buy down here, sell up here, you would have made 37%, and so on and so on. And then when it does go bearish, it stays bearish. Even on this little tiny drop, it stayed bearish this whole time. So you can save money if you were to sell based on that model. You can make money if you buy based on that model. But again, I can't stress this enough. I don't recommend just buying and selling when they cross over, because sometimes, especially with really volatile alts, there are periods where you might get this, where it crosses over and then crosses back and then crosses over and crosses back. When that happens, I call that dancing EMAs, because they're sort of dancing back and forth. And that's actually something I use to predict a potential breakout or a drop. When they're dancing around like that, it's consolidating. They're indecisive. The market's not sure what it wants to do. It's kind of trading within a range. In a lot of those cases, when it's trading in a range, it's actually trending up or down because you're getting lower highs and higher lows or lower lows and higher highs, which means that you're getting a triangle formation or you're getting a wedge. So in a lot of these cases with dancing EMAs, when I see that, one of the next things I look for is if we're looking at a falling wedge, if we're looking at a symmetrical triangle, if we're looking at an ascending triangle. So as soon as I saw that, I looked at it and I'm like, wow, all right, that's a pretty nice wedge formation right there. It's sort of symmetrical. It's not bullish or bearish per se, but what that does indicate is that you can have a strong breakout in either direction. As soon as I saw that dancing EMAs, the next thing I looked for was some sort of wedge or triangle formation, some sort of geographic formation or geometric formation. Once I saw that and I saw it again bounced off of here and started moving up, I got really confident and I started telling the group, again, this was a premium only trade until I just stupidly shared it with everybody. So I'm sorry for the premium members, but now this is everybody's trade. So is it too late to enter? Yes and no. So based on this trade, this is either going to go up and break out of this wedge formation, massively break out of this wedge formation. It could also massively break down from this wedge formation. So let me point something else out to you here. When I'm talking about my strategy of how I mitigate risk and employ stop losses, if I'm right and it breaks all the way out, we could potentially make 150, 200, 300% on a trade over like a couple weeks. Not even a question. If this is a long and extended breakout and goes super bullish, we can make a shit ton of money. On the other hand, if I'm wrong about it, and, well, I'm not really wrong because I'm saying openly that it could also drop down, we're risking 3.5%. The most we could possibly lose is 3.5% on this trade. There is no reality where we could lose money on this trade once we get and move up our stop loss to our entry price. Then it becomes a risk-free trade where you either break even or you make 20, 30, 40, 50%, 100%, depending on how long it runs. So with my model and my strategy, by always having stop losses, we're usually only risking 2, 3, 4% at the most. But the upside potential is 16, 25, 35, 55% on some of these. You guys know how altcoins can run. So that's the overall gist of it. Premium members who are asking me to dive into Ichima and the EMA strategy more, I did like a 3-hour live stream on it a week ago, so just check the Vader University channel, watch that. I just wanted to get into like a basic review of each of those concepts now before we go on to looking at some of the charts. And we could do another live stream on them if you want tomorrow or whatever. But there's definitely a really, really good one from the last week. Those were really top-notch educational ones. Those recent Vader University streams, like I said, are like the best I've ever done. So one of the topics I wanted to cover from an educational perspective on tonight's. The next thing I want to go over is kind of my process. I just ran through a little bit, but I always talk about, and you guys have seen me tweet and talk about it in the group, how I don't really care about what the profits are going to be. I don't obsess over profits too much. I obsess over risk. So I'm obsessed with getting the lowest risk possible. So let's just say there's like a really strong support right here at 72.40, and we just broke above it a couple times. If I were to enter at the current price, I might be able to place a stop loss below that support at like 1% down. So the most I could lose is 1% if that support holds up. If the support fails and it comes back down, I'm probably going to get stopped out at 1%. But if that support holds, I'm going to make 5, 10, 15, 20%, and I can move my stop loss up incrementally. And at no point can I risk more than 1%. And as soon as it moves up 3 or 4%, I move up my stop loss to my entry price, and now it's risk-free. So it's risk that I obsess over. I work as hard as I can to mitigate risk for me and for members of the group, to teach them how to do it themselves, and on my own trades that I share with them, how I've done it. We go over that in extraordinary, excruciating detail. Mitigating risk is critical. It's the most important thing you could do in trading. If you mitigate your risk properly, it doesn't matter how much gains there are on a potential play, because once you mitigate your risk correctly and you're risk-free and you can't take a loss, you might only make 4% profit on the trade, but it's still 4% with zero risk of loss. It's insanely beneficial to focus on risk over profit. And when people think about, like, what's your target? What sort of breakout can we expect? Don't worry. That's not the question to ask. The question to ask is, how much of a drop, if it does go down, would you expect? Where's the next support below the current price so I can place my stop loss below that support line? And can I keep that stop loss to 3-4%? That's the question you want to ask, because that's what's going to make you money in the long run. You're going to make money if you keep your risk to 2-4% on every single trade. Because even if your trades are only making 5%, you're still making 5% when you're risking a lot less than that. And then all you have to do is move up a tiny bit to be risk-free. So focusing on risk is critical. One of the things I wanted to talk about was when I decide not to enter trades. And there's two situations in where that happens, which I'm going to talk about after I take a leak. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, yeah, give me a minute. You guys sit tight. I'm going to go take a leak, and I'll be right back. Yeah, the way the drawers work, it's kind of hard, but I can see everything. I know. You sure that it was all bad? Everything? Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm back. Where was I? Okay, so I wanted. Oh, hold on one second. Let me check something. Easy J is gone. Hold on. No, I didn't. All right, this is going on a public live stream because I don't really give a shit. But Winnie joked and said, "I didn't hear any water running. Did you wash your hands when you took a leak?" And the answer is no, I didn't. And the reason why is because I had an epiphany, my friends. When you are married and you wake up in the middle of the night and you flip on the light in the bathroom, which not only wakes somebody has me looping back through, and you got to mute yourself on Discord. Okay. When you wake up in the middle of the night and you flip on the light, and that wakes you up because all the light goes into your brain, and then it takes you out of your deep sleep mode, right? REM sleep. You wake up in the middle of the night, flip on the light in the bathroom because you have to piss, and flip up the toilet seat. Also, I can't seem to remember to put the toilet seat down, and my wife fell in the toilet a few times. So now I just piss sitting down. And if anybody has a problem with that, then I urge you to do two things. Try it before you shit on it, and go fuck yourself. Those are the two things you can do.
I do the same thing for my wife.
Dude, it's instead of getting yelled at for her falling in the toilet, I just and it's easy. I just don't have to aim, and I don't turn the lights on, and so and I also don't have to wash my hands, which is the best part. Although we all know none of us wash our hands after we pee anyway. Hold on, I just got a couple questions I'm going to ask. Answer in public. George asked where to get to Vader University. That's all premium content. I showed you, George. Didn't you see? I showed the whole group of like where everything is and which stuff is for the premium group and everything. We don't really have a lot of basic members. Basic members get like the crypto chat and random chat, and they see most of the charts that I post. But the calls or the plays that I come up with, like this BQX play, which is only for the premium group. I'm starting to do more premium group only calls. I'm going to get back into that. I used to do it more. So I'm going to do that more, but they also have the live streams, which are obviously great. We do this for hours on end, and I'm not just showing off for public members. I go into all the shit in great detail, and I love talking about it. And again, you can DM anybody with a purple name in the public chat is a premium group member. You could DM any of them, and I'm pretty confident most of them will tell you the same thing. I mean, the entire time I've been doing this for several months now, there have only been like 3 people out of hundreds who have actually had complaints about the group. Other than it being a mess with so many channels and kind of disorganized, but like with how I teach and, like how much I work on and how much time I dedicate and how I care and I don't lie and I'm honest and all that sort of stuff, great reviews. And then obviously there's a few assholes, but it was only like a few people who weren't participating in the calls and the streams and then saying that like I don't do anything, which is insane. If you think I don't do anything, then I do these streams like this for hours and hours. Okay, so let's get back to the stream and just make sure. JR's, yeah, it is the ultimate power move for sure. ICX making some corrective moves. We're gonna look at the ICX chart and the other ones in a minute. You did what? But it was Elliott Waves. No, I shared like one of mine on public, like the Elliott Wave maybe or something. Vader University stream. I shared on Twitter just to like share the sort of content that we do. All right, back to live stream. All right. Mauricio says pissing that way is better for your plumbing. All right. Well, I didn't even think about that. I was being not healthy about it. It's purely easier in like 5 different ways. Don't knock it till you try it, boys. All right. So topic I was on. Yes, when I stay out of trades. This is important because since I'm so risk averse and since I focus so heavily on risk, first of all, it's important you develop a risk profile for yourself. You need to know exactly how much risk you're willing to tolerate. You want to diversify your portfolio based on that profile. You want to decide how deep your EMAs should go. Should you risk 6% on some plays? That's very, very heavy for me, but maybe some people want to take on more risk and they're willing to. You really don't have to. 3-4% as a max is pretty damn good. It works very well for me. But if you don't want to get stopped out early because you really want to try to ride this trade up 40%, you could obviously take a deeper stop loss. But I try to minimize my risk a bit more. I have twins on the way and trying to save money and do well, so I can't risk as much capital as I used to. So as far as getting out of trades or avoiding certain trades, there's 2 times when that happens. One, where I don't have a good entry. So let's just say like BQX, for instance. This might not be the case. I'm not doing an analysis of these right now where I'm going to show support and resistance, although I kind of am on a good one right now, and it happens to meet up perfectly with a 99 EMA, which is a good sign. But let's just say none of this was... what should I do? You know what? I'll just do a whole new chart. Fuck it. Let's look at substratum, whatever. All right, so let's say, and this is just a random one, just looking at where this bottomed out and holding my mouse here, I can see there's a lot of trading activity right over here. So let's just say this is our really good support. That's a super strong support right there, and we're wondering whether or not we should get in right now. And then I go down and I see, well, if I place my stop loss below the next good support, it would be 11% below the current price. There's no way in hell I'm buying in right now. I'm not taking on that much risk, and I don't just buy it and place my stop loss 3 or 4% below the current price, because it could easily just dip in range like it always does. I placed my stop loss about 0.5 to 1.5, maybe 2% in some situations below a support. So I'm not taking on an 11% risk. There's zero chance that would ever happen. So if I entered right here, I wouldn't have a good place for my stop loss. So I'm going to just turn with this trade away. Even if it looks bullish, what I'll do is I'll keep a note of it, and I'll say, all right, based on this current setup, this is wave 1, we're on wave 2 now, we might just bounce right here. If we do bounce right here, then what we could see is we get above the EMAs and the base of the Ichimoku cloud, which is 3 out of my 4 dynamic supports. Once we break above that 99 EMA and we're up here, now I have an entry. Because now if I enter, I can place my stop loss below my 3 dynamic supports. The 55, the 99, and the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud. So if I entered there, I could place my stop loss like 3.5, 3.6% below the current price that's right here. So I would rather wait and pay more because I'm lowering my risk. That's taking some profits away. So like I said, I don't care about profits, I care about risk. So am I sacrificing a few percent profit? Yes. But by being able to do that, if the price drops, I'm not losing 8%, I'm going to lose a max of 3.66%. So I'd rather take less profit, but know for a fact that I'm not going to take that much of a loss. And if I do take a loss, it'll be minimal, but there's a good chance I won't take any loss at all because I have a very good support below my entry price. So right now, I wouldn't enter, but I would be willing to pay a higher price because it would give me a much lower risk. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. And this is something we haven't discussed as a specific topic for a Veda University class with premium members even. So you guys, this is a new topic that I'm not doing this recapping just for public people. This is something that I wanted to do with the premium members anyway. I'm just inviting you guys in on it. There's a question. I answered that a few minutes ago. I will one more time. He said, so the 55.99 MA or the EMA, I just explained this, so pay attention. The EMA is the exponential moving average. You know when you're in school and they weigh certain grades? Like this midterm is weighted, so it'll count towards 20% instead of 10% like all the other tests you've had. The front most recent trading activity is weighted with the exponential moving average. So, in this case, as soon as the price started moving up, the EMA immediately started turning. It was going down steeply, and then it immediately started turning. If that was a regular moving average, it would have kept going to down here before it started turning. But since it's an exponential moving average, it very, very quickly responds. So look at this. It shot up, and then we had this steep drop. As soon as it shot up, it started bending up. As soon as it had that steep drop, it immediately turned down. A moving average would have gone straight all the way over to here before it had any reaction to this trading right here. So you get these sharp turns in the EMAs that you don't get with moving averages. And the reason that's so beneficial is because when we get this bullish crossover and the 55 crosses over the 99, that's happening 16 hours after it started to turn up. We knew about it just from this crossover. If this was regular moving averages, it would have been like over here, like 2 days later that we would have had those same MAs cross over, because they don't move nearly as quickly because they're not weighing the initial, the most recent candles. Hopefully that clarifies it. T-R-O-Y. T-R-O-Y? The fuck is your name, dude? Guy whose name starts with T and ends in Y. Is that clear? Got it? Makes sense, right? It's perfect. I use the EMAs for my strategy because of that fact. It's such an amazing tool. People who use moving averages either don't understand the difference, or they're just idiots like Filicon. Okay, he is a good trader, and I can't deny that. He's just a horrible human being. So anyway, yeah. So one of the circumstances. Do you do momentum trading when you have a good chart, 1 minute or 5 minute, or just focus more on swing? I do some scalping. I talked about that before. Sometimes I'll be like, this is a really good opportunity to scalp. I'll show you guys what I'm doing and tell you guys what I'm doing in the premium group. I'm talking, to the private group members. I'll let them know what I'm doing, get in and out and stuff. But I always tell them, like, hey, if you're not an experienced trader, don't try to do this because you're going to lose. When you are doing that, it's a much riskier proposition because you can't get your stop losses in as quickly. So I'll usually do it with a much smaller sum. I'm not going to use as much capital because I'm more risk averse. A college kid who's in the group who just got 50 grand from his dad to play around in crypto and it's not a big deal if he loses it, maybe he'll do a little bit more swing trading and I can help him do that, but I'm just not going to do that myself as much. I do it sometimes. I have a channel where you guys could talk about it in the premium group. But yeah, I'm down on the smaller time frames all the time, but for a different reason. I'll do an Elliott wave count, and we talked about this in the Elliott wave training video where like you'll see these two big hourly pumps and a drop, and right there you can't see an Elliott wave there because we're on the hourly. But if we went down to the 1 minute, chart, you probably could come up with like some sort of corrective count on that red wave, which was this big drop down. So here you actually can see it because there's many more candles. So it's a good idea to go down to those shorter time frames when you're trying to get a better idea of entries and exits. But my initial charting is always done on the hourly because that's where my EMA strategy lives. My Ichimoku strategy with Ichima with Ichimoku and EMAs works best and really only to an extent on the hourly. Once I find a really good play and I'm trying to pinpoint the best possible entry or best possible stop loss location, then I'll go down to the deeper, to the lower time frames. Huh? Somebody saying something? One of you guys say something? No? Okay. I thought somebody started asking me something. All right. So, one of the times when I decide not to enter a trade, it's dropping a little bit, but it's sitting right at my support. So let's see what happens. Remember we talked about this last night in the live stream. I said when we break above a support, you never want to enter right away because very, very often we come right back down to test that support before moving up again. That very well may happen here. We might come down a little further, but no matter what, there's a very good chance that we would have come back down to test this support right here, especially since we just finished a 5-wave cycle, 5-wave impulse wave here. We just finished 5 waves. Now we're correcting. Now, since we have such a strong support here at the top line where we had a quadruple top pretty much, we might get a super shallow support and then move up again from here. We might actually just bounce right off of this support and then move up. It's also possible we'll get a more typical correction and come back down, maybe test the top of the 55 EMA right there before we move up. But it is possible, since this was a very bullish move, we'll get a short correction. We'll bounce right off of the support and move up from here. And I was expecting the support anyway, even if I didn't say last night how we always come back and test the support. Just the fact that this is such a clean impulse wave with 5 subwaves, and this would also be wave 1 and 2 up from there, because this was the ABC. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to get an ABC, and now another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which should take us up to about here. And that'll be a 1, 2, 3. And then from that point up, I'm going to have to decide if I think we can move up anymore. I originally had up to like 7,600 as the top of this move before I thought we'd come back down. And just to show off, this is purely showing off. This is shameless showing off. Let me just show you guys really quick so the public guys can see. People who are in the public group, I posted this, from this point forward on the 27th, but I also had a lot of this predicted too. But on the 27th, I posted this even to the public group. Actually, no, it was definitely before, because I remember we were down here when I had this wave 3 drawn, going up to here, correcting down. I had us stopping at this support, but it ended up going right to the Ichimoku's dynamic support, which again, my Ichima model in full effect, and then we bounced up from there. I mean, this chart is the most precise and accurate BTC chart I've ever had. I don't know if anybody else has really been that on point in the last week. It was pretty amazing, though. And it allowed us to do some really good stuff with the alts. So again, learning these concepts is critical. You can see how bullish we are with the EMAs, with them diverging. So my EMA strategy is telling me that this is very bullish right now. It's just a function of how far we can carry it. So we just went through the one of the times where I don't enter a trade because I don't have a good low-risk opportunity to place my stop-loss below a support. Another time I don't enter a trade is just when it doesn't look good, and I wanted to give a few examples of when that's the case. This doesn't look good right now anyway, and this is a good example because it shows you both. I don't like that I don't have a good strong support. The other problem with it is everything about this is bearish. The only thing that's the slightest bit bullish is that the market's overall doing well, and we have a little bit of a bull flag formed here. But the EMAs are not bullish. The EMAs crossed over, and that's a negative. That's a bearish signal. That's the 55 crossing below the 99, based on my strategy, which again is extremely accurate. This is a bearish signal. They're slightly starting to converge and get closer together, but the fact that we keep getting rejected by my EMA and my Ichima model, the EMAs are rejecting it, and we're coming up on the cloud right now, which is going to be right in line with the EMAs. If we keep getting rejected, I don't see any reason to think we're going to break through. If we do break through those resistances, then it's a different story. Then the EMAs start to converge and get closer together. They'll start getting closer to a bullish crossover, and I'll be in a position where I can get a stop loss that's much closer to a good entry. But right now, this is a bearish chart. So certain things I look for to know when not to enter. If I don't see a lot of bullish signs, I'm not going to enter. So even if the market's doing decently well, I'm going to have bullish setups and trades that I'm going to enter and share with the group. If the market's not doing really well, then a lot of these trades just don't look bullish. They just look bearish. I'm just not confident in getting into them for that reason alone. So there's certain things that I can help teach you that, what to look for. So you want to look for my Ichima model, of course. If you can't break through that resistance, you can't go bullish. The EMAs themselves crossing are huge, but again, that's not a perfect science. It's very accurate and very helpful, but it's not perfect. For BTC, it doesn't. Somebody asked why I chart on the Bitfinex chart but trade on Binance. Bitfinex has the most volume. That's where the most whales are, and they're all pretty much the same anyway. The exact level is going to be different. USDT versus BTC on Binance versus BTC USD on Bitfinex. A top might be 71.82 and then 71.76 on the two. It's pretty much irrelevant. The trends are identical. It's not like you're going up on one chart and down on another, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't make a difference in that respect. I also don't trade BTC anyway, so I don't care what the price is. I care how it's trending, because that's going to dictate how the rest of the market will do. So when we're getting in and out of alts and I'm developing plays for the team and for myself, then in those instances, I want to know exactly what BTC is doing, but I don't care exactly what price it's at. So I use the Bitfinex one to chart it. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go through all of my charts while all the public members are in here. A couple minutes on each, because we're already over an hour now, and I'm going to want to get into a premium only call and everything, so me and the premium members can discuss some new plays that aren't included here. But I want to go through this with the public group so you guys can catch up and see over the last week how we as a group have done, and why. again, I'm not big. I don't do signals, and I don't tell people when to buy and when to sell. I despise people who do that. I think they're fucking con artists and assholes, and I think they don't care about the people who are paying them to teach them and to mentor them, because they're not mentors. They're just giving you an arbitrary number that you're supposed to buy and sell with your own money. That's absolutely ludicrous. Can you make available a replay? I'm going to leave this up for 24 hours, and then it's coming down. If you're in the premium group, if any of you guys want to sign up for premium, pretty much there's probably like 100 at this point. Every single live stream I do is available for replay whenever you want, except for a very select few that weren't good, or just went like 6 hours long because I took a 20-minute break to eat a sandwich, and it just kind of sucks, and nobody wants to really watch that long of a replay. I try to stay on topic now and keep them to about 2 hours. I used to do 5-6 hour live streams, but it got a bit excessive and nobody could really watch them back. I'll leave this one up for 24 hours, and you'll have the link and everything, which you have now. It's going to be the same link. Then it's coming down, and it'll go up with a new link and only be available to premium members. To answer that question. So, yeah, I hate the whole signals thing. Oh, man, you threw me off. Well, I was saying something. I think it's fucked up, and I like to teach people and mentor people, and I'm there to support them when they need me, whatever that means. And signals groups and stuff are just ludicrous. So when I show you these charts, you'll see, like, I'm not saying buy here, sell here. I'm doing a live stream like this where I'm teaching in much more detail and a much more personalized level exactly what I just showed you guys at a basic level. Which is, how do I trade and everything. So I might say, like, this is my stop loss. This should not be your stop loss for multiple reasons. I don't put my real stop loss on the charts anyway, because if other people use the same one, we'll compete. And if there's limited volume and limited liquidity, some of us may get filled and some of us won't. So that's one reason I don't. Also, I don't want people to just use my trade levels because I have a different risk profile, and that's going to encourage them to just use my plays as signals, which is something that I care very deeply about. I don't want them to do. But I will say, like, this is an entry right here. I can enter right here, place my stop loss here. If you're entering even 3 pennies higher than I entered, you don't want to have the same stop loss as me anyway. You need to have a stop loss at your own level, and you don't also want your stop loss to be exactly 3% below your entry. In this case, I wanted to because there was a support right here. But if you buy it 4% higher, say you bought it like right at the current price right here, if you were to place your stop loss where mine is, you'd be taking a 7.5% risk. So you're only going to want to do like a 3-4% risk. The problem is, if you were to do that, then you would end up not having a good entry unless you're getting, in this case, it would be okay because you're still below the EMAs, which are my main supports. To get below both EMAs is 4.76. And again, on Icon here, we'll probably bounce a little bit, and then we might come down a little bit further and test the Ichimoku cloud, the top of the Ichimoku cloud. In this case, it's not, the body of the candle bounced off my 55 EMA, but it's not like every single time they get 100% support from the EMAs, obviously. A lot of the time they do, and that's why it's such a great strategy, but it very well may correct past the EMAs here, come back and test the top of the Ichimoku cloud in this section, which is right at this support. The fact that this support is exactly on point with the top of that cloud is very reassuring. That means I sort of have a confluence of indicators doubled up, so I'm even more confident in that support. We might end up getting an ABC. We bounce here, come back down, and correct down to this level around here before we move up again. So sometimes in these cases, I've already moved my stop loss up to this level. I might have gotten stopped out, and then I can buy back in lower. So again, like I explained earlier in the stream, I'll place my stop losses. I'll move them up incrementally as we progress through them. So just to show you this icon trade, I can tell you roughly like when I put these up so you can get an idea of how on point. Again, this isn't to show off. This is sometimes I blatantly show off and don't give a shit, but this is to just genuinely show you like, how these concepts work and everything and how great they can be if you really dedicate yourself to learning. Remember how I said we might get the bounce right here? Looks like we might be getting it. So let's see. If we do, we could bounce up and then finish correcting to the Ichimoku cloud. So that doesn't mean to enter. It just means to watch it closely. I'm not saying to enter. So yeah, this and last 5 wave, this last 5 wave, after, if you look here, you'll see there's some strong bullish divergence. It's hard to tell here because this is the hourly chart. If I go down to the 15, this chart is in the middle of nowhere, right? You don't even see the RSI bouncing off that red line. It looks like I just made it up. Let me show you. If I go down to the 15 minute, I believe it was the 15 minute where I did it on this chart. Yeah, go down to the 15 minute, and that is a perfect uptrend on the RSI, matching up with a perfect downtrend on the price action. That's bullish divergence. That's one of the signs I look for. Once I saw that, I felt that a reversal was imminent. We started moving up, but again, we didn't break the EMAs, so I didn't enter yet. It wasn't until we started getting back up here that I felt comfortable entering. And the next bullish indicator that I saw were these bull flags. So last night, during our live stream, I was showing how we keep forming these bull flags. And it keeps looking better and better every time, and it looks like we're going to keep going up. Bull flags are, in essence, Elliott wave. So when you hear people on Twitter who say, like, oh, I don't believe in Elliott wave, it doesn't really predict the future, blah, 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 they're idiots who don't know what they're talking about, because this wave count right here is going up, and then that bull flag is the corrective wave. It's wave 2. And then this next flagpole moving up is the flagpole, and then this would be a subwave here. And then the next one down is the next flag. So the shape itself is actually forming those Elliott waves. So this corrected a little earlier than I thought it would because it never broke through this support, which is fine as long as it doesn't correct much further, in which case, if it does, it's going to invalidate this wave count. Sometimes I ignore minor wicks here and there if it means that I can have a really good analysis that can make, that could be a profitable trade, but yeah, so that's so this entire move up pretty much since right here, if you would move your stop loss up incrementally in a day and a half, you could have made 18%. Although you wouldn't have sold exactly at the top, you would have moved your stop losses up. So now this is a more recent trade that I highlighted, but getting in earlier, I'm risk-free on this trade. And worst case, I break even. Best case, it bounces, and I make a really nice profit on wave 5. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's ICX, and then if you go back a little bit, because we've been at ICX for a couple days now, a few days rather. So this correction was very predictable. The bottom of it was very predictable. It bounced right off of the 236 Fibonacci retracement. Fibonacci is a very important indicator that I teach how to use. And that's why, that's amazing that we corrected exactly to target, because that 236 was a perfect target. Here's BQX, which, again, has bounced. I'll give you one guess right off the EMA, and I said it was going to do that. Now it's going to get back up and test the top of this trend again, and we really want it to break out from there. And if it does, I'm extremely happy, and if it doesn't, so be it. But right now, if it does break the top of that trend, I'm going to be risk-free. Like I said, I'm going to move my stop loss up very soon, and then it would be impossible to take a loss. I'm actually going to do that regardless, even if it doesn't break that trend line, because at this point, the EMAs, which are about to give us a bullish crossover, where the 55 is about to overtake the 99, if I were to move up my stop loss to my entry price, it would be below those the 55 and 99 EMAs, and I would have a ton of support there. I might put it a little bit lower, like I said, closer to here, a little bit below the bottom of the Ichi cloud, but it will be a risk-free trade very soon, and then we'll see how this plays out. Do we go up and then bounce off of this same trend line again that formed the top of that wedge formation? We could. That's going to be a resistance that we're going to have to break. If we come back down from there, it could just be another correction and we make it through on the next one. It might break right through it, in which case that's a wedge breakout, which can be very, very impulsive and very, very profitable. And if it bounces off of there and comes right back down, we're back to square one, where most likely we'll go all the way down and test off the bottom and move up from there. So let's play it by ear, see how that works out. I already went through BQX, how I spotted that. I spotted this trend, and then I was trying to figure out if that was a bear flag. I said we would bounce off the bottom, which we sure enough did, but now we're making another move to attempt the top breakout again. So I'll know soon enough. If we break out the top, it wasn't a bear flag. If we go down from there, it very well could have been a bear flag. Oh, take a look at EOS. I've been charting EOS for several days since way down here. So essentially this entire move up, I was able to predict with some pretty good accuracy. Last night, just again, this part isn't showing off. Sometimes it is. This part's not. Let me show you. I'm going to go back to my short-term plays. It should be in there. Let's see. I'm not going to go back more than... Actually, no. I can go back up one more. Yeah, I'm not going to go back more than a couple days, but here. So take a look at this. This, see where we're dropping right here into wave A? I had told everybody in the group on the next one that this was, well, I had specifically said that ES is nearing correction because this is what I had predicted. So again, this is not me showing off, look how good I am at modeling everything. I very easily could do that. I know people get pissed when people are like being a show off. And I'm not really like that. I do it as like my persona online on Twitter, joking around. But the guys in the group know that I wouldn't say I'm humble, but I'm not a dick about it. And if you don't like people with a potty mouth, then fuck you, because I curse a lot. I'm just kidding. If you don't like cursing, then just tell me, and I'll try to keep it to a minimum. I have no problem doing that. Just ask. I was just joking. I like to joke around a lot. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that. So... 2 people just left the live stream because I said fuck you. Alright, Christians. Sorry. Didn't mean to offend you. At least you're not yelling at me because my people killed your God. Then that's really when they get mad. Ugh. Alright. So, yeah, I said we're nearing the correction. We're getting there. And sure enough, this is what we look at right now. I mean, it really couldn't have been more precise. We hit the 1618 target that I had for wave 3. That was my wave 3 target. It's Fibonacci extension for you. Killing it with the Fibonacci extension. Predicted the top flawlessly. And now we're correcting. We're testing my EMA right here. This is the 55 EMA. We're giving it a test. We'll see if we break down. I figured that the way we were going and the pace we were going, I'd get the EMAs where the 55 would be up here. The 99 would be further down. I thought maybe we break through and test the 99. We might actually test right off the 55 right here and get an earlier wave B, then we'll come back down again. I don't think the EMAs are holding us up here. It's just we've been moving up really impulsively. This is almost like a parabolic move, the impulsiveness of this run. So I think we have to correct a little bit more. If we get one of those really super shallow corrections here and run up, I'd be surprised. I think it's a lot more likely we maybe come back down to the 618. I think it's reasonable to expect that. But my stop loss, which I just got stopped out. So this last night, I moved my stop loss up to right here. And my logic was, I'm fine getting stopped out. I never moved it up again, so I didn't get stopped out yet. That candle's almost there. I'm about to get stopped out, which I'm fine with. So I'm going to get stopped out, and I'll be at about 34% profit on this trade, along with several people in the group who have also been in EOS with me. So depending on how long they've been in it, different varying profits, but about 34% over a few days. It was actually the beginning of wave 3 that a lot of us got in. So, sorry, 33.56% over the entire week. Most of the week. So, yeah, if I get stopped out here, the plan would be 2 more people left the stream too. I wonder if people really got offended because I cursed them and made fun of Jesus. I don't know. Whatever. I don't really care. I am who I am. I tell it how it is. I'm honest, and that's me. If you don't like it, do I have to say it again? Go fuck yourself. God damn it. It's so annoying. I accidentally hit a button that took me to BTC instead of EOS USDT. Just thank God it didn't. Oh my God, look, I did not get stopped out. This is something I brag about sometimes, and I can't help it. if we bounce up from here, like, have you ever seen a better stop loss? Is that not, like, utterly ridiculous that we bounced that close to stopping me out, where it pretty much just almost touched my stop loss? It actually did touch my stop loss. It's possible that part of my order could have gotten sold, but there's no way, if it's that at the tip of the wick, there's no way in hell there's enough volume to fill many orders at all, let alone, mine. So we'll see. Like I said, we might get the bounce here, get the early wave B, and then come down a little bit more. So if that happens, I might want to move my stop loss up a little bit, maybe to like this support right there. If it's more than another few percent, I was going to do this earlier, and I never did. I showed everybody in the group. I was like, look, I can make another 2% if I move my stop loss up, and I never did. Maybe it's a good thing that I didn't, because I would have gotten stopped out for sure if I did. But then again, I think this is a wave B, and then we come back down a little bit more. This is going to take a little bit longer to play out. The fact that it's this shallow means it might happen a little faster. But so I just wanted to quickly show you. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me again? I keep doing that. So I wanted to, just show you the comparison of, like, how perfectly we predicted that. Now, from this run, I was in EOS down here, ran it up to the end of wave 3. And then I got stopped out halfway down when we broke the 618. And then I was able to buy back pretty much back up here, pretty close to where I had gotten stopped out prior. But when I did that, I'll show you, I knew it was the perfect time to re-enter because of... When was that with the ES trend line? It had to have been a few days prior then. Like days ago. I obviously post a lot of charts to this group. No, that's back to the 18th. Huh. Where the hell did I post that? It would have been... That actually would have been, like, earlier yesterday. Oh, here's one. Here we go. So, at one point, after the initial bounce down here off of the EMA, I was watching this trend line, and then after this trend line was just that on point, sometimes I'll just post plays like this to the group, and I'll just show, like, look, we got this really strong trend line. The rest is up to you. I can't tell you where to get in. I can't tell you where to place your stop loss, but I can show you this chart and tell you that I'm very, very confident it's going to run up from here. And, I mean, I guess I can give you a guess what happened next, but do you really need one? That was down here, and then we haven't stopped running up since. So since I posted that, it's probably up, 12% in a day and a half. So sometimes, like, if you want to join the group, I might not give you charts that just tell you to do everything, but we'll do live streams like this on the reg, and I'll do what I can to give you the tools you need to be able to make those decisions yourself. That's coming up on strong support here. That happens to be, it's going to be right here, and it's matching up right with the 55 EMA. So I think we're bouncing there. We're probably not going to go down further than right here. Most likely. Do a quick Elliott wave count. Let me see if there's some questions there. Cool. Signals inducement. 3 commas. Directly on Binance, I don't use 3 commas because I don't enable APIs because it's a huge security vulnerability. Some people in the group may. I have my own link for 3 commas just in case people want to sign up for it. I get a commission or whatever. but it's not something I just don't use it because I don't use APIs. All right. So chances are we're gonna bounce there. We could dip down to. I'm ignoring that wick there. We could dip down to the 55 right here and then just bounce, or we're just gonna move up from here. If we break down further than that, I will probably have to reevaluate things, come up with a new analysis. But for now, just as a rough idea, this is probably the right play. We'll see. I'll come back and check on that. I had Vet was like the most detailed chart I had. The guys, so when we got this crossover, you see this bearish run, then we got my EMA model crossed over, and see what it did since then. If you were trading my model, even now you'd be up 100% in 2 weeks. I'm giving a moment of silence to the people who don't listen to me and don't actually like want to learn how to do this stuff and just want signals, because they're the ones who didn't make 100%. Well, we did. Well, I didn't because I had gotten stopped out and then didn't get back in, but it's whatever. I had gotten stopped out here, missed like this entire run, and then it came back down. I got back in, had a nice run there, got stopped out. But if I just ran this whole thing up from the beginning, I probably would have made more. Although, to be honest, after I got stopped out here, I missed this run, but I got in on some other plays that did really well. But this entire run, I mean, look at my EMAs. There's two things. There's the crossover, right? When we get the bullish or bearish setup with the 55 and 99. Then there's also the dynamic support angle where we keep getting all this support and we keep bouncing off of those EMAs. And they're such a great dynamic support to use. So if you just bought based on my model here, you would have had... Hold on. I'm feeling my twins kick me through my wife's belly. Oh, hey. Whoa, Jesus. Huh? She likes the apple? Jesus.
Are they kind of stat eating or drinking something?
I think Luke and Leia are practicing their Force abilities. Luke and Leia. Luke and Leia, Skywalker, Feinberg. It's not up for discussion.
Layla Jane.
Yeah, right.
And Oliver James.
Luke and Leia. Yes, they're kicking me right now. I'm getting force kicked. I am getting force kicked right now because they want to be named after Luke and Leia Skywalker. This isn't a question.
No, they're throwing a fit because they think that's shit.
Huh? Okay. Back to work. So yeah, just based on my EMA model, this entire bull run. But what I was saying before is this was like my most detailed chart. I was TAing this every single day, nonstop. A ton of people in the group were in and out of it. We were doing really well with it. And then TradingView lost my entire chart. Maybe there's some older stuff, but like at least on most of my charts, everything after the 27th got wiped out the other day. And then prior to that, everything had gotten wiped out. And for some reason, Vet doesn't have anything except for the last 2 days. I mean, we're talking about like 40 hours worth of work, probably. Like, ridiculous. What's not right, Winnie? I can't start counting what on the cross of the EMA? No, I know what he meant. No, he meant because it was just a rough thing, dude. It took 2 seconds. I was just doing like a quick rough idea. It's going to be a difference of like 6%. I said if you were to buy down here when it crossed over, but in reality, you would have bought over here, and then you would have made 80-something% instead of whatever. No, sorry, it's higher than that now. He's just being a smartass. He does that. It's just part of being a gay, gremlin. He can't help himself. Yep, 85% minus the fact that whatever. There's other place to make in the middle, but no, it's 85, not 70. I just if you bought in exactly at that point, it'd be 85%, 85%. The trolls on Twitter will say like, yeah, but you're pretending to be a genius because you're making calls on a bull market. What the fuck? This is a bull market? Have you seen a bull market? Because apparently not. This is not a bull market, you fucking maniacs. FMA? There's no such thing as FMA. I mean, you fuck my ass is FMA, but besides that, there's no such thing as FMA. Is that like a come on? Was he coming? Will you enable FMA with me? No, I will not. I'm married, my friend. But, no, you see EMA, you just need glasses because you're fucking blind. No, I'm just kidding. That's EMA. Exponential moving average. Indicators. Whoops. Moving average, exponential, right there. Yep, both EMA. Yeah, it's just pixelated, I guess. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Actually, you guys, I guess it kind of does. I'm looking on it from mine. But something you should do is, no, this is on 7. Sometimes when I stream, instead of showing up 720p, it just appears much lower when it's on auto and you have to manually go to settings and do 720 or 1080, whatever your display supports. If you're using 1080, it'll probably show up as EMA. If you're using 720, it might show up as FMA, but that's just pixelation. I thought you were fucking with me for a second. So yeah, if I wish this whole chart didn't get erased, because I could have showed you some amazing calls in here. I mean, a lot of them are on Twitter. You could go back to Twitter. This move right here, actually, I called on Twitter before any of this. I said down over here, when these EMAs were consolidating, and we were consolidating in the middle of the while the EMAs were converging, and we were consolidating in between them, I said, guys, VET is the play. You need to look at VET. I posted the chart to the private group, obviously. To YouTube, I just said, watch VET. And then sure enough, an hour later or so, this happened. And then some people still on Twitter were like, and everybody's a genius in a bull market, because it was like the next day that I said how I'm 5 for 5 on my calls. But all of my calls on Twitter all happened down here when there was nothing bullish about the market. Not even short term. Nothing. That's why I fight back with those guys. People always complain like, oh, I don't like watching drama with you fighting with trolls on Twitter. Then don't follow me. If people are trying to like pick on me and bully me, I'm going to stand up for myself. Because I'm bulletproof. I got timestamps. I don't lie. I've never deleted a tweet, not one. So they can't really say shit. So if they come after me, I'm definitely going to say something back. All right. BTS has been running nicely. Again, corrected a little earlier than I anticipated. So I was wrong right there. Although I just got stopped out, but because I had moved my stop losses up to lock in profit. Given how deep this just dropped, that obviously invalidates this wave count. And I'm going to have to look at this thing again and figure out what the hell to make of it. I got it. I have to draw this count a little larger. So this is something that happens with Elliott Wave. For those who don't know, like when people say, oh, Elliott Wave's stupid because they think that it's like somehow supposed to like perfectly predict price action. That's not what it's supposed to do. Sometimes it does if you're really, really good at it. But that's not the intention. It's just giving you a visual aid to visualize the other stuff that you know. So like I know from, I showed you an EOS, like we got, to EOS, I said wave 3 was going to come up pretty much exactly to the 1618 extension. So me drawing a wave 5 up to that level doesn't mean that Elliott wave means that the price is going to go exactly to here. Fibonacci is what told me the price was going to go pretty much exactly to right there. So the wave was just a tool to visualize that before it actually filled in, and it did it pretty damn well. So just an important detail that you guys might want to remember when you see people saying like Elliott wave doesn't predict price action, it's bullshit or something. It's not. You don't just draw a line and it predicts what's going to happen. You draw a line to all the other data points that other indicators are telling you are most likely. And this is just a visualization to help put that in perspective so your brain can process it a little easier and you can see a general idea of what you're probably going to expect during that process. It's also probability based, but so all right, so back to BTS. So this is a possible count where we're correcting now, and I don't have a target just yet. I had moved my stop loss up right to below this resistance, so I just got stopped out right now pretty much. I don't know where my stop losses are on a couple other plays. I'm going to have to see. So if we bounce off the 55 there, maybe, we could, shit. If we go down to this, if we go down to the 3E2 fib retracement, that would be kind of on the deeper side. When I had likely correction target here, that was earlier. I don't know if I actually expected to correct this deep this time around. I think that was on an earlier one where we got a premature correction and then kept going up. But if we do come back down to that level, I'd be amazed. And then I would just lie and say that I always had this as in my old chart as the likely correction target because I knew this would happen, which would not be true. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't lie. I think it's more likely we'll get a shallow wave C to like the 236, but I'm going to give it time to play out. Doesn't really matter. I just got stopped out. I made, from my most recent entry, I made a little under 5% profit. But once we got up to this point here, I was completely risk-free. After it moved up even this far, I was risk-free. I no longer, when I moved my SL up here, new SL, to just above my entry price, I became 100% risk-free. Then I moved my stop loss up again as we moved up in wave 5, and then I had locked in 5% profit. So I just made 5% profit. I pretty much was completely risk-free from the beginning because I entered at this level and it moved straight up and never even went down below my entry price one bit. I posted this on Twitter as well so you guys can see. I wrote new BTS entry right when I got in on this new little entry move. So I just made 5%, and then once this finishes correcting, I'll play the bounce. So if we go down to the 236 and then we bounce from there, good chance I might buy in again right there and ride the next wave up, as long as the overall market remains bullish. BTC has held at exactly where I said it was going to hold. So far, I said we might just get a really short ABC. We'll see if we break below that support, and if we don't, then this is just going to end up being one of those super shallow corrections before we move up again, which happens all the time when you have these really bullish and impulsive moves. Like wave 5 was really bullish, and we're looking overall bullish with the diverging EMAs and all that stuff. So there's a good chance we might actually bounce from here. We'll see. We just finished a couple other charts. So with quantum, you can see I have wave 3 going all the way up here, but that's a major wave. I was thinking my timing's always off on these things. It would really be like, it would probably be more like that or something, but then beyond that main wave, then you want to come up with a subwave. Say we correct to there, and to there, something like that. Like, again, just a rough count. We might see something like that again if the whole market remains bullish, and then we correct back to the start of the prior wave 4. The 618 retracement is a wave 4. Retracing to the prior wave 4 is like a favorite target of mine. Talk about that all the time. So we'll see when we bounce, but this is going to be a great buy. To buy back into quantum when we do bounce, you're going to have one hell of a wave 3, 25% potentially. Now, I could be wrong about it. If Bitcoin comes down really hard, chances are this is going to get invalidated and everything's going to correct, but I think Bitcoin's going to run for another day or two. So this might be a good play to get into, and as long as you have a good stop-loss strategy, you'll be fine. If you don't have a good stop loss strategy and you need help figuring out how to do that, join the premium group and we'll work on it together and I'll teach you everything I know. Elf was a play that I thought was going to make a huge run. It started to. Now it came back down pretty hard. I just got stopped out on this too. Again, I was 100% risk-free, so I took no loss. If I had sold at the top, I could have made 7%, but I didn't. And I never moved up my stop loss because I was busy for a lot of the day, sleeping, because I've been up till 4 a.m. charting and live streaming every night. So this is a really, really hard correction. We'll see. We might bounce right off of around this level. And there could be another opportunity to buy back in. But, I mean, I just got stopped out, like, just now. But, again, no regrets. I have no problem missing out on that 7% profit because I had zero risk. And I care more about having no risk than how much profit I could potentially make. That's why I always say, don't worry about profit, worry about risk, and the profits will come. Because right now, I didn't lose any money, which means the next play I get into, I'm going to have just as much capital. If I put $3,000 into Elf and I put $3,000 into the next EOS play, I can make 20% on EOS, and I'm making $600 because I'm making 20% on $3,000. But if I didn't have a good stop loss strategy and I took a loss of 5%, I would only have $2,850. So I'd be making 20% on less, and instead of making $600, I'd be making whatever 2,850 times 0.2 is. NULS has been moving sideways. This is a subwave correction here because I had this NULS count for days now. But it's been very accurate. Again, the timing is kind of off. This really should be much further over, but we're going to have another leg up shortly, I believe. The fact that we're moving sideways on this correction, so we bounced. Look at the EMA strategy, guys. Check us out from this point forward, right? So we bounced off of this horizontal support here, and then we got a ton of support off the 55 EMA. And right now, a couple more candles that didn't quite touch it, but got close. Down here, a ton of support off the EMAs, ton of support off the EMAs, ton of support off the 55 EMA. And right now, we're sitting right on the 55 EMA. So if we make the next leg up from here, I'll be very, very happy. These sideways corrections are great because the price doesn't actually come down that much, so you don't have to worry about getting stopped out as much. What this actually looks like, this is more of a subwave correction. What this actually looks like is more like this was an ABC, which is one of the subwaves, and now we're on 1, 2, probably more of a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, something like that. I can count that out, but I'm not going to right now because it doesn't really matter. And I want to finish this sub we used as an example before, so I don't really have much of a chart to show you on that. Back to BQX, yeah, man, we're getting this bounce, except we're still struggling to get above that resistance, that trend line resistance. I'm not moving my stop loss up till we do it. I'd be willing to take a 3% loss if we crash and fail, as opposed to placing my stop loss at my entry price, so I'd have 0% risk. I can't wait to do that, but I'm not going to do it until I'm confident that I'm not going to get a quick wick down that'll prematurely stop me out. I'd rather wait it out, give it some time, and not move up too early, because if you move your stop losses up too early, sometimes it'll take a quick little wick, drop down, and then stop you out prematurely. So, all right, we're done. I'm going to stay on with the premium group. We're going to do a new link. I'll just tell you guys it, but I'll post that in our Discord. Let me I'll just answer a couple questions. I just did an hour and 50 minutes, so I'm not going to do that much time additionally with the premium group. We'll look at some new charts and see if we get some new plays, but so a couple things. One, let me look at the questions in the stream here and see if there's any questions I could quickly answer on the YouTube page, and then I'm going to shut down YouTube and give a new link for a new live stream just for the premium members to you guys on Discord who are listening on the voice channel. I will post a new link in private Dark Side Chat or Vader University's class discussion channels. So let's see if there's a couple questions in here. Any of you guys who are in here from public and stuff going to join the group now? I wasn't just showing off and like pretending. This is how we normally do these live streams. A lot of educational stuff. I share everything that I know. I hold nothing back. There's a couple guys who have live streams, like depending how much you pay them, it's like they give you signals and then they'll give you some educational stuff. Those guys don't really know anything. They're bullshitting. I don't pretend to know everything. I got wrecked in January, guys. I just lost all my money in January with a lot of you. The difference is the way my mind works. But building computers since I was 9 years old and doing, networking stuff because I have this very, very logical mind. So that stuff came really natural to me. I also day traded microcaps in the stock market in college a little bit. So because I had those skills and because I'm self-employed, I was able to completely dedicate myself the entirety of every second I was awake during the day to training and practicing and learning to do what most people need a year to do. I got really good at this stuff in a month, and then I was able to make back like all the money I lost. I'm not saying everybody can do that, but normally this takes like a year to really learn all this stuff for most people doing it here and there. But I'll teach you everything I know, and if it's not enough and you're not happy, then just join the group for a month and then leave. But hopefully you're happy. So let's see. They're both EMA. How often do you check charts a day to validate your theories? I check them all throughout the day and post up. Did you see when I pulled up the Discord and I was scrolling up? That was like a few days and a couple live streams. Like, this is August 31st. So I'm checking them throughout the day. Those are just all the ones that I posted last night during the live stream. And then throughout the day, like in the morning, that was all that night. Hold on. Let me go to short-term plays. So these were all a bunch today from 5 o'clock. Yesterday, 11 p.m., midnight, 11 p.m., 10 p.m., and then earlier in the day at 9 a.m. So I'm posting them to the group all day as I'm seeing important stuff and I want to give updates to the guys, but a lot of the time I set a trade in place and I'm like, all right, we'll check this in a few hours. It's not like you constantly have to give them updates or anything, but I'm also in the chat all day. It's not just when I post the charts. I'm in the chat doing stuff with the guys all day. So I'm checking them pretty regularly, even when I'm busy. Every once in a while, I go back to some of my old clients from my IT days and do some of that work, but not really that often. I'm at a lot of doctor's appointments now because my wife's pregnant with twins. So when I'm busy doing that sort of stuff, I'm constantly checking on my phone. If I ever see something critical, I'll try to jump in the group. And if I'm too busy, generally speaking, the guys know how to deal with shit because I've been teaching them a lot of stuff. And a lot of them already knew more than I do about TA to begin with. But like I said, I don't know everything. But I learned a lot very fast. There's people who've been doing this for years who have asked me, like, how many years have I been doing this? Oh, are you from Wall Street? I'm like, nah, bro. I'm an IT guy who got into crypto a year ago. They're like, fuck, seriously? But again, I dedicated like 12 hours a day to practicing this shit. Great info. Cool. Thanks for the compliments. That's nice. Happy you guys liked it. Join the premium group. We could do this like every night, bro. How much you think would be enough for premium and have a revenue? What do you mean? Like, if you sign up for premium, how much... Like, would you be able to pay for it with the money you'd make from my calls? Because I don't like doing that. I'm talking about that because capital funds. Well, all right. So the premium group's $1.30 a month. It's like a few dollars. It's like $3 a day or what? It's $4 a day or something. The basic group is $50 a month, where I share like my charts and stuff, and I'm in the chat a little bit. But we don't do live streams. We don't do educational stuff. When we do live streams, like some of these trades, we'll get in right now, and then if you're in the premium group, when I get off with you guys, there might be people in the premium group on our voice call who are like, we can check 5-10 charts really quick and find specific entries like on the spot. So that in and of itself is great. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get to that. I know what he meant. So there's lots of benefits to doing it besides just calls or making money directly from the work that we're doing. So I don't like answering that question because some people are in the premium group because they like the content I put out and they want to support me. And they said, I'm not even trading right now, but I'm going to stay in the group for a couple months till I'm back to trading in crypto. Just because, I know $100 to me is not that much, but when 20 people are doing it, then it really adds up for you because you can keep this group going and do this full time. So they're in there to support me. Some people in the group aren't trading at all, but they're very active in the group for educational purposes, and they just want to get education, learn how to trade efficiently and effectively, and learn how to manage risk appropriately. And they're in the group for that, and they're not even trading. So it's not like there's a certain level of capital that you need to invest in order to make it worth it, because I have no idea. There might be a 2-week period where the market is crap and I don't make a single trade and I don't give you a single trade. I'm not telling you about any trades unless I'm in them myself. I explain that all the time. I said that before. So if you if you want to make money from the trades that we're getting in and out of, that's fully dependent on how the market's doing. Sometimes I don't have many trades, but I don't need a bull market. I just need a stable market. As long as Bitcoin's not going down, we can get into some really good trades. But it's hit or miss. Sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes the market just isn't conducive to the sort of breakouts that I typically call. Sometimes it is. Like I don't guarantee any sort of level of signals or anything. So it's a really hard question to answer, like how much do you have to invest in the market to make premium worth it? In my view, and a lot of people, I mean, you can ask some of the premium members might tell you the premium's worth it even if you're not in the market, but you're thinking about getting into the market because you're getting a lot of education and learning stuff. You may not feel that way, which is totally up to you. If you're in this purely because you want to make money directly off of like the work we're doing, I can't answer that question. I think you can. There are people in the group who have a couple grand invested who have made enough to pay for a couple months of premium. They've told me that, but I don't know. There's no way of me calculating that. If you want to ask in the public chat of the public Discord group, the public chat one, ask some of the premium members, and if any of them can give you advice on that, you're better off asking them anyway. Not that if you guys know me at all by now, I'm not the kind of person just to like sell somebody on something. I really don't want to do that. When people ask me if they should join the group, I generally tell them, talk to somebody else and ask them if they like it. I just feel awkward. Like when I was doing IT shit, I used to just hate selling network hardware. I like selling my services because I'm really, really good at what I do. And they would hire me and I would just kick ass and they had no problem paying whatever my hourly rate was, which is pretty good. But when it came to like selling them a new firewall or something, it's like a $3,000 firewall. A lot of the time I would just charge them cost because I hated making money on products because I felt so awkward like trying to sell them on something because I know everybody looks at you like, do I really need that? And that's why everybody hates car salesmen. So I would tell them, this is the price list that I get from Cisco. This is how much a Cisco ASA firewall costs me as a dealer. That's what I'm going to charge you. I'm just going to charge you for the labor. So yeah, ask some premium members and maybe they can tell you. No other questions really, right? Got some of the twins, got 2 boys on my own, plan on joining when I can, see a bit more. Buying a house on Tuesday. Congratulations, Cam. That's awesome. We just bought a house. And now I owe like $17 bajillion on it. We have a humongous indoor pool and everything. Like, that's cool. But we got way bigger of a house than we needed. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes we have... So when I first started the group, I always talk about my famous like ONT play because I was so proud of it, where I made 218% on ONT in like 12 days. That's happened a few times. That's happened on ONT. It's happened on VET multiple times. It's happened on ONT like 4 times. It's happened on EOS. It's happened on NULS. It's happened on BTS. I've had a few 100% plus plays. I'm not guaranteeing you I'm ever going to have one again. It's possible tomorrow I'm going to have really shitty luck. Something's going to click in my brain. I'm just not going to really have it for a week, and I might have no good plays. That's entirely possible. So I'm not promising anything or guaranteeing anything. The only thing I'll guarantee you is I'll never lie to you. I'll always tell you the truth. I'll be very straightforward. I will always respond and do whatever I can to help you, no matter what it is, if you need my help, and I will teach you everything I know. That I can promise you. And then if we get some money-making plays, because my TA is really on point for a while, that's just a bonus. All right. 1 minute warning. Any questions? people in Discord, you could just talk if you want. But anybody in YouTube who's watching, who's using the YouTube chat. Any more questions? Because we are 2 hours in, and I wanted to do like an hour for public and then dedicate a couple hours to premium. And now I'm going to do like an hour with premium probably. Yeah, the thing is, I don't do that. Sometimes I don't do as many calls as publicly. Kiwi said he followed my calls on like the public ones on Twitter, helped him make money to pay for the first month of premium. But sometimes like I've been doing it more lately because I really been trying to promote everything. But a lot of the time, like I won't be as active on Twitter because I'm trying to dedicate more time to the group. But recently, I've been trying to be more active just because the group's been getting stagnant. The market was crappy, so like a lot of the guys weren't as talkative in the chats. And I was like, you know what? We really need some new members. I got to start sharing some of this content. Everybody in the group supported me. They were like, you got to market yourself. Go post all of the premium shit on Twitter. We don't care. But obviously, I only posted a small amount of it. But that brought a lot more people in because they saw we were doing good work. And it's not just me. Like I love teaching you guys, and I'm good at this stuff. But keep in mind, if you guys want to join, the community is kick-ass. We got some awesome members, and they help each other. A lot of them come up with great plays. Winnie called a sick play on WAN today that I didn't even look at or see, and they were just doing their own thing while I slept all day to catch up after a few days of late night streaming. So the community itself is worth it. So I hope people from the public group join, and we can do some more work. All right, thanks for coming by, guys. I appreciate it. Premium group, stay on the Discord voice call, and I will post a new link in a few minutes. And we'll go through some new plays or see if we can find some new plays, check out some new charts. All right, thanks, guys. I'm going to leave this stream up with the same link for 24 hours if you guys want to watch back. 2 hours. Because you have literally nothing better to do.